Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome to TN Tuesday, my new summer series where I'll be sharing with you every Tuesday what I am able to get done in that TN project so dear to my heart, my story, the first 60 years. So I will have a playlist created just for this series, and I will always have it at the end of each video. So if you've missed any of the installments, or if you missed the introductory one that I did last week, it will be in that playlist, and I will also try and remember to link it below. All of my TN inserts are from Beth's shop, Rock Your Notebook. The quality is just amazing. They stand up beautifully to mixed media, to even a little bit of dimension. So I love her notebooks. I don't use any others, so I'll put a link to her shop down below, and you will see the other two. So this particular one, so yes, if you remember the last time I showed you the arts and culture one, which was originally I planned it to be on watercolor paper, but in the end I found that just a little too bulky and not enough pages, so I think I'm going to keep that notebook for some playing around and testing out techniques and arty stuff. So I went and I got this lovely one. I don't know if this is part of the Cherry Blossom series of notebooks that Beth did, but it's lovely. It's got this gold foiling on it, and I went to the Tomoe River paper because I really enjoy working with it. So this week I worked in this journal, and I did my new title page for the arts. The previous one I had called Arts and Culture, and then I started doing all sorts of research as to what's the difference between arts and culture, and then depending on whether it was in English and French, so oh my lord. Anyway, so we're just calling this the arts. My picture, I just did some stamping. If you recall, I talked about in my last video that I was going to try and use this stamp market called Labels. I love it. So I just used this and I stamped it in different sizes. And I just put, there's no real rhyme or reason. This page is not meant to be complete. I think it's just what popped into my head when I made the page. So I stamped it in 3 different sizes. I used Mint Macaron from Stampin' Up. I used Calypso Coral from Stampin' Up, and then my basic Memento Black ink here. I use the word details, noteworthy. So I think, you know, this is fun. It's a little bit of an introduction. So the first one here is maybe a little bit more related to music. So I just put some of my tastes, some of the things that came to mind: the Beatles, Elvis, Frank Sinatra, U2, disco, I'm of that generation, Chopin, Alfred Brendel, my favorite pianist, Beethoven, Mozart, and flamenco, which is a favorite music style of mine as well. Then I went into a little bit of reading and movies: Nancy Drew, Forrest Gump, Cozy Mysteries, Under the Tuscan Sun, and Peter Mayle. And then here, Impressionism, Monet, Van Gogh, the Louvre, the Quai d'Orsay, and Givenchy. There's a lot missing from here. This is by no means the only subjects or things that I'm going to record in this book, but it's what came to me, and I just wanted to make this a little bit of a title page. So, of course, as you recall, probably my very first memory in the arts was the Ed Sullivan Show and the Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Oops, 1964, that came off. I'm going to have to add a little bit more glue here. And thank you so much to my lovely friend Sharon Barakman, who gave me the exact date. and mentioned in her comment to my previous video that she was glued to the TV that night as well. So it was the 9th of February, 1964. See, I wasn't sure whether it was 63 or 64. So I was actually all of 6 years old. And so what I start off with in my journaling is what excitement. I was 6 and I remember it like yesterday, the day I fell in love with Paul McCartney. So yes, Paul McCartney has been my favorite Beatle. My favorite Beatle to this day. I think I pretty much still have a pretty big crush on him, actually. So it's survived close to 60 years. So there you go. So I was allowed to stay up and to watch and dance. The two songs that I really remember are She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. And I think I must have continued singing I Want to Hold Your Hand for months after this, every single day, or at least it seems to me now that I just went on and on and on about it. So I say also my tastes in music have changed over the years, but the Beatles, and then in brackets I put in U2 because I will get back to that, are timeless. So many events in my life were accompanied by them, and I will be recording that a little bit further on, probably in my personal book, Hey Jude, how my first actual boyfriend who had broken up with me. There was only one who ever broke up with me. That was Michel. He broke up with me, but then begged to get back together, all to the tune of Hey Jude. Sometime in the 70s, I guess. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So here we go. So this is a lovely notepad that I got from my friend Helen. It was part of my Christmas present. And Chopin and Liszt have actually nothing to do with this particular spread, but I love that she sent that to me. It's music related. And she sent it to me because I think of my cat, Chopin. And this, of course, Liszt, who is another one. And there you go, you see, because he's Hungarian. And I'll get back to that in some of my Budapest scrapbook layouts. If you just go back to the last video, for my How to Kill a Kit, I was talking about Budapest and I went to the museum. But shopping lists, which I think is just fun because it's a beautiful notepad, which is meant to be, you can use as a shopping list. But I thought I would use it here for journaling. So I just tucked behind it. I had a very thin strip in my scraps of black and white. I think it was about maybe an inch, so I cut it in two because the notepad paper is a little bit narrower than the width of my traveler's notebook. Then I added some washi tape on top and bottom in the black and this sort of mustardy yellow color that matches here. And then did all of my journaling here. 9th of February, 1964, the date. Couple of a sticker here from Prima, the best. And here on 9 February 1964. And then over here, I really just let the photo shine through. I used a scrap, I think this is the last now of that lovely Maggie Holmes paper, the A side and the B side. I had a little tiny strip, so I just tucked it under here to bring some balance and keep those colors and patterns going. Another sticker here today, Happy Day Today, some enamel dots and sort of a little bit of a darker mustardy color here. True Story, most favorite. Now, I hummed and hawed. The color is not perfect, but I loved it. But I really hummed and hawed because here in Canada, of course, favorite. That is really, oh, look at that. Not only is it not OU, but that's not even O. Look at that. That's F-A-V. Oh, I guess it is an O-R-I. It almost looked like another V, but it is O-R-I-T-E. And I spell it with a U, so at first I wasn't going to use it, but I just, I need to get over that, I suppose. Although I sort of glitch every time I see it, but there you go. So most favorite, remember this. So just a little bit of decoration here, but this is probably my first art culture type memory. And again, thank you, Sharon, for reminding me of that date. And look at Paul. Isn't he gorgeous? There we go. So that is that one. And then the other spread that I got done, I had showed a little bit in last week's video where I had started a little bit. So this is in my more personal My Stories TN. And this is daily routine. I'm calling it daily routine because this is a photo of my house, my first elementary school, and this is a Google Maps of going from the school to my house, and it is an 8-minute walk is what they are telling me. And what I really wanted to do here is, one, capture that daily routine because this is my school, so little moments captured. And now you see here, this is a Glitter Girl piece of paper, and I love that ombre paper. And then what I did here is I went into my How to Kill a Kit with Style and grabbed some of the Cocoa Vanilla stickers and added them here. So this could almost be a little bit of my How to Kill a Kit with Style as well. And I added these because the colors I found matched this Glitter Girl paper so beautifully. So just little moments. A few, and then I went in and I got Movie Night, this lovely Movie Night sequin mix from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and this sort of bluey, purpley, almost a lavender type color, I guess, matched perfectly. So I got those out and added those into the spread. So I just called this daily routine. Over here, Bloom and Grow, and then I have 2 tags. So this one, which comes out, and this one I've actually glued to it, and I just put a little bit of trim here that I had over in one of my little baskets. This is a photo that I found on Google. I'll be back to that in a moment. But I'm sort of talking a little bit more about this. So this is a very journal-heavy little spread. And what I remember most about Notre Dame de la Sagesse is walking home with my friends and playing on our way. We did not even question our security. Times have changed, haven't they? Everyone knew everyone, and all the parents kept an eye out, but we felt so grown up and independent. I also remember my little orange and white plaid pleated skirt and matching top, and the wind making my skirt fly up one day, and just giggling and giggling on this street here. It was on Crocus. I even remember that. It was the first bilingual school at the time, and I also got to skip grade 2 because I already spoke French, which is another little memory. So it's a little bit of a catch-all. And then here it says, I found this current photo, or at least I think it's current, I don't know, and I hope nobody minds that I'm actually putting that here, although I'm not really saying the address out loud. But I found this on the internet. I don't know how really current it is, but it has changed so much. In the early 90s, when I went to de Havilland in Toronto, I was still in the aircraft industry. I passed by the house that I grew up in, and the owners, the then owners, were kind enough to let me visit the house. And I think what I remember of that the most is it's amazing how small that house was. And I remember being a child in that house and how big the house was and how big my room was. And when I went back to visit, how in fact small that room is, which is another little memory that I've documented here. So there you go. So that's where I'm at in my story, the first 60 years. I do go on a bit. I hope you're enjoying the series. And it's awesome because I saw a couple of comments in the Mercy Tiara group. Louisa is one of them, who said that she is going to get some albums going. She's going to be, she's in her 50s, very early, and she's going to get these kinds of story albums done for her children, one for each of her daughters, I think, which I think is just awesome. And then my friend Karina left me a little comment that said that she might join in and use this idea. So if any of you want to do your first, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, if you're up there like me, or even more if you are, it would be so much fun. If you have a YouTube channel, let me know. And if you're just sharing in the Mercy Tiara group, that's awesome. Tag me, please. I would love to see some other projects. So I will see you again next Tuesday. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for all your support. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and maybe hitting that little notification bell thing if it actually does something for you. But basically, I do try and be on here Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, with maybe a few in between. Thank you again so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.